So thank you so much, Susan, for helping us with the many issues that we find ourselves grappling with as parents. And like you said earlier, we learn on the job.
Yeah.
No one was trained to be a parent, but you have also encouraged us and challenged us to be intentional about how we raise our children, constantly communicating while we are doing whatever we are doing. So, tell us now, we go into the nitty-gritty of the training. So what would you say about these sleepovers then?
Well, they are dangerous. I fear them. I fear them unless you are really sure. I fear them. Because some of these wrong habits are taught during those sleepovers. Because you don't know what happens at night with the other person. You are not in control of that. So some of those habits are...
And you talked, we can even, that is why the cases of incest are on the increase.
Yes. Even right now, we don't trust even our own relatives, unfortunately. You don't trust your brother, your sister, because you don't know what happens at night. And I think that is something that parents need to be careful about, especially when the kids are a bit younger, as in they can't defend themselves.
They can't even talk about it.
If you must bring somebody in and they will stay in your house overnight, sleep with your kids in your bedroom. Sleep with them. Please sleep with them. Tandika mattress up, or put the mattress down there and let them sleep there where you can see them. Protect your children. Protect them. Don't make your child to sleep in the same room with another person. You don't know them. You don't know what happens at night when the lights go off. We don't know. And that child can be damaged for the rest of their life. And unfortunately, with most of those things, you discover a bit late. You don't even discover it right there. You discover it a bit.
So we are getting so many insights today, and you're letting us know that many things affect the outcome of our children. And we are talking about now the environment and how it affects them.
So we've talked about the home, then the neighborhood, then of course the school. A school is not just a school. Where you take your child is important. Look at the school culture. Look at also the products of the people, the kids who have come from that school. And I'm talking particularly about a boarding school. It's important that you realize that some schools are more prone to maybe drugs and things like that, and indiscipline. And if you take your child there and maybe they are prone to that kind of a problem, then they are also likely to get into it. So it's good to look at the school. So then again, we have the needs. The needs, there's your needs, and then the needs of the child. Most children are born average. That's most. So that's why we make a normal curve. But a few are gifted on the extreme, one extreme, and then the others have a few special needs. So it's good to also accept your child and to realize that although we expect most of our children to be normal, and most of them will be, we have exceptions. Maybe you have a gifted child. You need to be careful with that one, because they have extra energy. They are geniuses, or they are sharper than their peers. So what do you do with that? Or else you could be having a child who has challenges. Maybe they are challenged. Sometimes it's just a learning disability. And then you take them to school and you realize they are not being able to learn at the same rate or pace as the others. I think that the most important thing is not to compare children. And that's a mistake that we make a lot of times as parents. Why can't you be like your brother? Why can't you be like your brother? And I could tell a lot of stories about that, but maybe the thing that I would say here is that I learned it myself on the job, because I get my eldest son. He's gifted academically. He has a sharp memory. From when he was a small boy, he would cram whole scriptures, whole chapters of verses, songs. You teach them once, and that's it. Tomorrow he's singing for everyone, and he has won so many trophies with that. And then later on, I get another child who, my friend, let me tell you, to get them to cram a verse is a lot of work. And even just to learn a song, and they are so disinterested. And when they went to school, the teachers constantly would call me, today he decided he's not going to learn, and he just sat on his desk and just held his hand and kept quiet. and he's not talking to anyone, and this is a 3-year-old. Okay. And I started to get frustrated. I started to wonder, now what's wrong with this child? And by the grace of God, the Lord allowed me to read an article in the newspaper, only to discover my boy has a learning condition, disability called dyslexia. But I hadn't learned about it. But when I learned about it, I read about it, I went and evaluated, I saw, this is my son. So now you empower yourself, you now read more about that.
Dyslexia,
and yes, and who are the people who have that? What did they do? You begin to now empower yourself, so you know how to handle this child. So that is very important. Also look at yourself, your needs. How are you raised? Maybe not in the best style or conditions. Then you need to grow yourself so you become a better parent. And when you are being raised, you are being raised. You are not a parent. So the moment you become a parent, then you need to be intentional to learn. There are books, there are nice videos like this one. Learn and practice. Become an intentional parent. You grow yourself so that you can raise empowered children.
All right.
Then of course there is the spiritual aspect. You have seen children, and it's very interesting, raised by maybe drunkards, and sometimes it's both parents, and they come out okay. You have also seen children raised by good people who are using good parenting styles, and then they are destroyed. You are wondering what's going on.
What went
and sometimes
south?
Maybe they were raised in the right environment, but you see they are not turning out the way it was expected. And that you can never downplay the impact of the spiritual aspect when it comes to parenting. You cannot you cannot downplay it, whether for the parent or as well as for the child. And so that's why those of us who are believers, we know the power of prayer. That in as much as we are doing so many things, we are raising them well and being intentional and constantly doing that. But again, we really need to also, pray for our children and let them know to pray for themselves as well, so that God can, because children came from God and gave us, for us we are stewards, and then now the Lord can help us. I think I like that scripture so much, that I am not, they actually don't belong to me. I've just been given to be a steward. Sometimes you hold them too much, but children they are given to us, so that we can just raise them for God. We are just stewards. And so if we can ask the Lord for help, he will help us. And then maybe the other thing I would mention about training children, it's important to let them know why you are doing what you are doing. Communication all the time. Communicate. Let your children know where you are taking them. I think that is a plus. Or in my life, I communicate. I all the time I explain myself. Don't be a parent who requires your child to do something for the sake of doing. Let them know why you are training them. Then they cooperate with you. They don't oppose. I raised my children in an environment where they were the only ones who are being made to do chores. The only ones. So
they had many
so they had questions. Why don't I, as we come from school, let me tell you, literally after school my kids had chores, but the neighbors didn't have chores. So the kids will literally come to the gate knocking. They want my kids to go out and play, and they would have to answer, Sisi tuko na job, we have work to do. We can't go out. You see. And I constantly had to tell them. Did they get angry
at some point?
Of course, they would have wanted to go and play. So I have constantly to tell them why I'm doing this. There's a place we are going. There's a place I'm taking you. You need to learn this. I constantly told them like that. Let me tell you, it empowered them. Soon, they became trainers. Other kids would come to the house. I caught my daughter another time. A whole horde of girls had come to be taught how to wash the house. And she's the one who is training them.
So you have already now done what you said, raising leaders.
And she was, and that time she was, I think, in class 5 or something like that. I come into the house from work and I just get in at around 5. I find the house is being washed by several girls. She's training them. This is how you wash a house. Because you realize many kids don't even know where to start if you tell them to clean a house. They don't know how to start. But now she knows and she's training them. So I come in and they are being trained how to do this. I've seen that a lot even with my kids. I remember another time in the neighborhood where we were living. There's a mother who had grown-up kids, daughters. One of them even had a kid, but they could never be sent for shopping in the supermarket. The mother would have to come and do the shopping and the cooking.
Themselves.
They would sit in the house, they're just on their phones. But personally, I started like my eldest son. As soon as he went to school and he was taught how to cross the road, I started to train him how to do shopping, and I would send him. Initially, fortunately, there was a supermarket across the road, so initially I would send him and follow him. Wow. I send him, then I follow him and watch him. I've trained him how to cross the road, how to go to the supermarket, how to pick the things. I had trained him. And so I would go there and I am watching how he's walking and I'm hiding. I hide behind blocks. I hide. He enters the supermarket. I hide to make sure I see, and I make sure he doesn't see me. I make sure of that. I did that severally until I saw this boy knows how to do it. He's following my instructions. Then I started to allow him to go. And people thought I'm crazy. Actually, my neighbors, they were thinking you are crazy. But let me tell you, soon the word started going round. Ati, you are, in fact, another lady was telling the other one, you are keeping your grown-up daughters here. You have not seen Austin is going, my son is called Austin. He's already doing shopping. And so soon my kids began to realize that, hey,
what they are learning is, wow.
One time another neighbor also on the other side found that the children had removed all the clothes and put them outside. Even as we want to wash our clothes. See,
like
Austin they are washing their clothes. And she came and told me, wow, the things I've seen today. My kids have decided they're also washing their clothes.
Wow.
So my kids began to realize, wow, we are becoming role models. Wow. In fact, one of the breaking times of that is a lady came and started asking me, how comes my kids have a very poor appetite? And we talked about it. And I asked her, what kind of chores do your kids do in the house? And she said they don't do anything. Then I asked her, why would they need the food if they are doing nothing? Because she was asking me why your kids are healthy, they look, you know, they are healthy, they are okay. And then she was wondering, so let me tell you, if the kids are not doing anything, why do they need the food? They won't have the need for the food. But if they are working, let me tell you, you won't tell them to eat. They'll get hungry. So if the kids are, you know, crawling under the seats, they are scrubbing, they will get hungry and you won't tell them. And so that lady, I remember, she just brought a revolution even in our own lives and my kids' life, because she came and the daughter came and sat down my son and got a list of everything you can do. Everything, because the age mates. Write for me. She was writing, taking notes. Everything you can do. And she wrote.
And that is a place I would want us to discuss. So that you let us know at what age a child should be able to do what.
Yes.
Yes, so that all of us will come out of this place with tips on what to do with our children.
Yeah, so she wrote the list and went and started practicing, and it brought the change in their home. You're seeing. And so what I was trying to say is, it empowered my kids to realize that what mom is doing with us is a good thing. It's because that's the power of communication. You keep telling them that this is where we are going, and they will buy into that. Now, you don't train a child so many things at the same time. So you take them at their pace. Just be conscious that they need to learn. By the time a child is about 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, let them clean the utensils that they can do. They can help you in wiping tables. Those kind of things they can do. There are so many chores in the home, by the way, so many. From the time a child can use toys, let them know where toys are kept and have a place for keeping them. From the time from 2 years, let them know where to fetch their toys and to keep them back. From the time they start walking and they have toys, just let them know that this place we keep our toys, and once we are through with them, we take them back there. Then soon after that, they will begin to be able to wipe tables. They will begin to be able to wash utensils. Actually, kids, even by the time they are 3, they start to wanting to help you with cleaning around. Just allow them.
All right.
Just allow them. Just allow them, provided you are there and you can assist. And then let them begin to wash 1 or 2 items, the handkerchiefs. By the time they are 5, they go to school. Let them start getting responsible with their cleaning. Let them start knowing their socks. They can wash their handkerchief. Let them help you to rinse
clean their
clothes.
shoes.
Clean their shoes. See, they are growing. So now their hands are big enough. By around 6, 7, they can sweep. They can begin to mop our floor. In fact, by the time they have gone to school, they can actually mop. These floors we are dealing with nowadays, they are not being scrubbed. So a child can actually mop. What you need to do is to train them where to start. So when you are cleaning, let them be part of it. Let's do it together.
let it be fun.
Let it be fun. Let's do it.
Right.
So they begin to show you, you work with the kid. They will begin to show you what they can and what they cannot do. Because kids, especially when you are working with them, they will usually want to help.
All right.
So just work with them like that. But whatever you do, by the time your child is around 7, they begin to learn to cook.
Yeah.
And some simple meals, rice, spaghetti, eggs, they can do that. But the most important thing is train your child to use the available source of heat you are using. Then make sure.
So that's for safety purposes.
For safety purposes, train them. Let them do it several times when you are there. Several. And tell them the dangers of using gas, because for the most we are using that. Tell them if you allow it to leak, this is what will happen. But also begin to train them. Communication. Right. But also begin to tell them, and should this happen, do this. Should this happen, you can do this, you can do this. This is what we protect. Please train them. Don't assume they won't understand. Those guys are being taught science in school. They get it. They get it. So they will get what you're telling them. Just say it a few more times. And then train them so that they can. Let me tell you, so many homes have been burnt by a child who wanted to make an egg and then they leaked gas. Because you never trained them. You just left them and they felt they were hungry and probably there was nobody around them. And they were inquisitive. This kind of kids who want to learn and they can actually harm themselves. The better thing is by the time that child, and talk about it. I'm doing this is because of this. Communication. Constant communication.
So these also connote a lot of time with the children.
Yeah, a lot of time with the children. Why did you get them? So create time for your kid. And eventually you find that they learn their skills. Even anybody else comes in the home, they're able to explain to them that this is why we do this here. Don't do this. This will happen. Don't do this. Communication is important. Constantly tell me, we don't do this because of this. If we do this, this will happen. This can happen. And it's dangerous for us and all that. So by the time in fact, I have images of my sons. By the time they are 10, they are able to do ugali.
Wow.
Because it's a process. Ugali is one of the hardest because of their hands. That business will bring that.
A bit of
rice
strength.
is easy. Most kids can do that easily. And stewing meat, please, making just meat. Just train them how to do it.
Cut onions, they cry.
Nowadays we also have a lot of tools that we can use. Friendly. Even without them having to use knives. Nowadays we have them, they just press and it's there. Avail those. They will enjoy it, then they will learn new things. They will even teach you other things. Learning is a constant thing that we do in life. And then if you do that with time, but whatever you do, by the time your child is ready to go to high school, let them be trained from home. Let them, that's why we are ready to release them to go, because we know we have done our part. This kid has been trained, well loved, they have been well loved, they have been well equipped with the right decision making skills. We have an all-round child. We've taken good care of them. Now we can release them. Let them begin to go to high school. Now we are beginning to release them, because once a kid goes to high school and if you take them to boarding, essentially I'm releasing them. Then they go to the university or college, and after that to life. So let us as parents ensure that we have raised responsible children. That's the bottom line. Whatever, you may not use my style because it's not the roadmap, but whatever you do, ensure by the time you're releasing a child to go to high school, you have trained them. They are responsible. They can make good decisions. Because let me tell you, chores don't only teach your child chores. They teach you a lot of other skills which are not spoken, but they are learning where to start. When you have a mess, where do I start? Which corner? How do I approach that issue? It teaches a lot of skills.
In the process of learning chores, you are training a lot. And even emotional control. My kids, especially my daughter, she would go to school, and the punishment that the teacher prescribes probably for some, I don't know, some noise making or something, is mopping the veranda. She would be laughing. She has done it one touch. She's gone to class. Other kids are there crying, because they have been wondering where to start.
They are crying. She did it long time ago and went. Then they are seated there crying, and they are there crying with the teacher because they don't know how to do it. So you are empowering your child to be independent, so that you don't always have to be there.
You raise a responsible
responsible adult who will take care of themselves and take care of you and the world. They will definitely will.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe as we get to finish, and we have really learned so much. I think we should do this again. There's a lot to do in parenting. Maybe we can end by knowing how do you discipline children.
Okay, I think about discipline is a parenting style thing.
Okay.
Yes, you know that there are those parents who are like our parents. They were authoritarian. You know, they were authoritarian. You know, you do something because I have said. You know, there's no explanation. I am your dad. You do it. But I believe in the Bible personally. It's a standard for me. I believe that what the Bible says, that discipline your child when there is hope. Do not withhold the rod of punishment. It says like that. You will save your son from hell. I believe in that because I believe in the Bible. And so when it comes to discipline, it's a parenting style. I think one of the issues I would have with that is if you are that parent who never, ever disciplines your child, the thing that human beings fear the most is physical pain. That is what psychology teaches, that we all fear physical pain. That's the thing we fear the most. That is why the rod of discipline is used. And it is not the thing you use all the time, like the way our parents used, or some of us also. You can't use that as the only tool of disciplining your child. That is supposed to be an extreme. If you realize that your child is now on rebellion, it's time to inflict some physical pain, because they are being rebellious. But you can't discipline the child with a rod for every other wrong, because even you make mistakes.
Yes.
You can't use that as the only form of discipline. Then when the child will do something very gross, what are you going to use? So you can't be the parent who constantly do sleepers and all that. And our hands are not supposed to be for fighting our kids. They are supposed for loving them and all that. So when it is a discipline, let us have a specific stick for that. And they know they know that when I have this stick, there's a problem. Yes. In my house, because they hide the sticks and they throw them, I have my mwikos for ugali have two purposes. They normally have the purpose of working on the government material behind, or for cooking ugali. They do that. Okay. But what I can say about discipline is communication. Communicate with your child the expectations of the home over and over again. It's what we do in schools as well. The reason why we have a lot of order is because of repetition. Every other time you are reminding them what they are supposed to do. You preempt a problem. Remind them, you know the things you want.
So not getting tired.
You know,
we get to a place where nitashinda nikisema, you know.
But the child is, if utashinda ukisema, but if it's not rebellion, please shinda ukisema, because the child is not doing it deliberately. But if you realize that the kid has done this against me deliberately, take action, because you need to stem that disobedience. So the model of the Bible is that the father is a loving father, the mother is a loving mother, but also submissive, and the children obey. The children obey. So I expect my children to obey me, but I am also reasonable and logical.
So that they don't get angry, like
so
the
that
Bible
they don't
tells
get,
us.
I don't anger them.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't require for them to do things which are illogical or things which are outrageous or sinful even. I will. The Bible will hold me and them accountable for the right. So if I realize that you are being, rebellious, it's time for the road. But if not, for the other small things, let's talk. Let us also use withdrawal of rights. It's a very good one. Very good method of discipline. Every privilege has some strings attached. If you don't finish your homework on time, you cannot extend your sleeping time. You have to sleep on time. You cannot watch a certain program that you love. You didn't do your homework. So we don't need to fight. We have an understanding. We have rules and regulations well stipulated. When you come from school or it is during the holidays, you wake up, this is what you do. And we have rules that are well stipulated. And if you cannot do what you are supposed to do, you forfeit some privileges. If there is a place you are supposed to go, you won't go. If there were some goodies you are supposed to receive, you won't receive. Yes. So it's a very effective form of discipline that trains also a child to regulate themselves, because they know if I don't do
not
this,
to have excesses,
not to have them excesses, and of course the spiritual aspect of praying for them.
Okay.
Yes.
So Susan, we think we need you again in the show, because I am so sure the issues we are talking about are issues that most parents are grappling with, but we thank God because our children were created to live in such times as this. They have everything they need and require. So we will not go forth with fear. No. We will go forth with what you have said, intentional parenting, training ourselves, learning, because we learn on the job, and then we will create those responsible children, and godly, I will raise a godly generation or seed for God. Yes. So thank you so much for coming on set. We will do this again.
Yes, sure.
So continue watching, subscribing to Magibika for such empowering talks and impactful talks that our generation needs. Subscribe to Magibika Ngai, and I'm found on every social media platform, Magibika Ngai. So thank you for tuning into Chronicles La Familia. We'll see you next time with such and great conversations.